I'll just start sharing some things with you about trapiche. You probably know already that the first trapiches were emeralds that were found in only in the Muzo district in Colombia. And what sets them apart is the fact that you have 6 segments. You have a hexagonal core, and then you have 6 legs. They're all perfectly straight. And what's different about the Batakundi Ruby is you don't have the segments like you have in a traditional trapiche. It would be properly, in my opinion, more properly called trapiche-like, because what you have is reflective inclusions that cause the trapiche-like pattern rather than the inclusions that make a complete separation. So I'll make a little illustration up on the board here. Can you see that at all? Okay, you see the difference here. You don't have a complete separation that's taken place in the crystal. The faint trapiche-like pattern that you have here is caused by reflections off of the inclusions, whereas with the emerald trapiche, the original one, you see you got your slice here, and then you have your 6 legs like this intersecting at the center. So you can't, my opinion, you can't properly call the Batakundi type a true trapiche. The only true trapiche rubies that I've seen are the ones coming from Mongshu in Burma, because they have the complete segments like that. Yeah, you can access this article in GIA magazine, and this is a great photo that illustrates exactly what I'm talking about. You see the silky reflective inclusions that cause the trapiche-like pattern, rather than a solid dark inclusion material that's making a separation of the segments. So you understand that so far?
Yes, sir.
So let's see if you can pull up the blue and pink slide. See the blue and pink one?
Yes.
Okay, we can take a little break here and talk about the, you can all have access to this article online. This is an article I wrote for IIG In Color magazine several years ago about all the trapiche gems. But in particular, what I wanted to show was the difference between in the Batakundi material, you have a trapiche-like sapphire that usually has pink color zones that make the trapiche-like pattern. But there are no solid inclusions that break up the segments like with the emeralds and with the traditional trapiche ruby from Mongshu. Is it possible to move forward in the pages there? Ah, yeah. Okay, keep going. Go all the way up to the article. Oh, okay, stop there. Okay, perfect. Now you see with the emeralds, you see how you have the clear separation of segments of the crystal that are caused by the inclusions? Can you all see that clearly? Somebody wave to me if you can see that clearly. Okay, very good. Okay, move forward now. Next page. Oh. Okay, now you see the Trapiche rubies here. These are the Mongshu type Trapiche. And also, you can see the clearly delineated segments that are caused by the inclusions. Okay, you can go forward again. Now with the sapphires, it's not the same as with the rubies. You don't have segments. Again, you have either color zoning or reflective inclusions that are causing the Trapiche-like pattern. But on the left side, you can see the Trapiche rubies there. The one at the top is very similar to the Mongshu, but the one at the bottom is the Batakundi one. And you can see again, it's reflective inclusions that cause the Trapiche-like pattern, as opposed to the segments that you saw in the Mongshu type rubies. Okay, we can go forward one. Then you can see more of the Trapiche sapphires there. And then the article gets into the other types of Trapiches, some tourmaline, some quartz, and etc. But you can all access that article online, so we don't need to spend any time on it here. Okay, thank you. So let's get back to the single slide of the pink and blue, if you can pull that up, please. Can you find it there? Can you find the slide of the pink and blue? Pink lines and, okay, we'll stop there. Let's talk about this one for a moment. This is your typical Trapiche from Batakundi. Typically, they have a lot of inclusions. It's very, very rare to get a clean one that has a well-defined Trapiche pattern to it. And they also tend to be sort of a milky, silky. Very, very rare to get one that you would consider to be facet quality. So I would say 99% of what are called Trapiche rubies or sapphires from Batakundi are of this very, very poor quality type. It's only a very small percentage that are the extra fine type. Okay, can you go to the pink and blue one then? Other direction. There we go. Okay, this would be your typical Batakundi type sapphire. The vast majority of them have this heavily included, very milky, silky type appearance. And in this case, again, it's a Trapiche-like pattern you're seeing here, but this is due to color zoning. So you've got the pink arms that are causing the Trapiche-like. So the vast majority of the material from these mines have this milky silkiness. It's very rare to get one that is a clean and bright type of stone, and never in the Trapiche types. Okay, can you go now to the 5-carat ruby red? Go to the small one that's the oval shape, please. This would have been one of the first ones I sent you. Do you have that there? This I sent a few days ago. Do you have that, or should I send it again?
Yeah, you can send it again, Mr.
Okay, I'll do it right now. Just a moment. This is the old version with Primagem, but you can use that. Oh, okay, there we go. This is the one that that caused all the excitement, as you can understand. It's a real pigeon's blood ruby red. It's facet quality, but not what you would call gem quality for faceting, because it does have quite a few inclusions in it. But it does have some nice bright red flashes when you look at it under incandescent spotlight. And you can again see here how the trapiche pattern is reflective off of the inclusions, and it's not the segments like you saw in the Mongshu type trapiche rubies. But in all my years of collecting, this is the only one that I've ever seen that was a true, really ruby red. You could say a fine ruby red color that had the trapiche-like pattern in it. 99.9% of them are pinkish, purplish, very poor colors. So this was an exceptionally rare example. And that's why GIA took note of it and wrote about it in their lab notes. Okay, and I sent you the video also. Do you think it's possible to pull the video up? The video really helps you understand that unless you have the exact proper lighting conditions, you don't get to enjoy the trapiche-like pattern. There we go. Let's run that again. So you see how, as the ruby's turning there, it is facet quality with a lot of inclusions, but you have to get it in the exact right angle or you don't notice the trapiche-like pattern there. Very good. Okay, let's stop that now and let me just talk about the geological situation. As students of gemology, you understand that geology has no borders, no boundaries. What is Kashmir to us is just a mountain range in the Himal, and the lines were drawn by human beings. So the old Kashmir, which is in India, is the exact same geological deposit as what we call the newer Kashmir in Azad, Pakistan, and where Batakundi is. So it's unfortunate from a market perspective because there's so much high respect and high value put on sapphires from the old Kashmir, India deposit, and such a much lower appreciation and value put on the newer Azad, Pakistan Kashmir, even though they're in the same mountain range, they're the same geological host rock, and et cetera. So it's humans that have determined that one is superior to the other only because of tradition and history, nothing to do with geological or gemological reality. In fact, there's been some recent finds of sapphire in Afghanistan that were misidentified by a few labs as old India Kashmir. So when you're dealing with these marble host type deposits, the crossover of characteristics can be huge. One of the biggest problems is separating Burmese rubies from Vietnam rubies. Often mistaken identification of Vietnam rubies that are misidentified as Burmese because, again, it's the same marble host type deposit and formed at the same time geologically. So that's an unfortunate part that has to do more with the marketing than anything else. And like I mentioned, the big distinction that you see with the Batakundi material is all of the faceted stones that I have seen has had this very fine, dispersed, cloudy milkiness. I have not seen even one fine faceted stone that was bright and crisp and clean. So that's something for you gemologists to do some advanced study to determine what is causing that milky silkiness. And there's a great opportunity that if someone can discover what needs to be done to heat treat to remove this, then there's going to be large quantities of very beautiful commercial material that can be heated and faceted and make much more beautiful stones. But so far, even the expert heat treaters in Thailand have not been able to improve the clarity and maintain a decent color with the Batakundi material. So we hope that one day that someone will crack the nut, but it might take an advanced gemology student discovering the cause of the milkiness to see if there is a heat treating technique that can remove it. So I think we can open it up for questions now. Does anyone have any questions about the location, about the inclusions, or anything else regarding the trapiches or other ruby and sapphire issues? Any questions from our students?
Sure. Please ask.
Sir, how is the market of Trapiche Ruby, sir?
The market for trapiche?
Yes, sir.
It's mostly a collector market, but there are a few jewelers who have been using trapiche gems in fine jewelry. Chow Chow Kui in Shanghai is one. Let's see. Erica Courtney has made a beautiful trapiche ring. It's called the Cloud Ring with trapiche emerald. So it's a very limited market because there's not, number one, not a big supply of, especially of the trapiche rubies. The trapiche rubies from Mongshu tend to be very small. It's difficult to even get a fine 1 carat size. So it's very limited as far as jewelry goes. Of course, the trapiche emeralds, there's much larger volume of the trapiche emeralds from Colombia. So there's a lot more jewelry on the market made from them. So it's really a niche market. It's going to be a few custom pieces by a few specialty jewelers, but there's just not enough of the material in the Batakundi trapiche to make a jewelry line or anything like that. So it's going to stay in the real niche collector or specialty jewelry designer market. It's never going to be a mass market item where you can walk into a jewelry store and say, oh, I want a pair of Batakundi ruby trapiche earrings. That you're never going to see that happen. but a very good question, because gemology relies on the market. If we didn't have a market, you wouldn't be studying gemology right now. More questions? Don't be shy. There are no stupid questions. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask.
So where do we find those kind of rubies then?
Where do you find the extra fine ones?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm fortunate that I'm pretty well known in the gem business, and I'm known as a trapiche nut. I'm a fanatic about trapiches. So oftentimes when dealers find new material and cut it, and they see a nice trapiche, they'll contact me. The large one that was sort of the strange, big, strange shaped one, irregular but geometric shape. That was the very first one I ever bought, and it was a 38 carat stone. And there was a gentleman from Peshawar in Pakistan who flew to Bangkok specifically to present that piece to me. And I wanted, after several days of negotiating, I finally bought it from him. So that's how they come to me. If the average person, if you as students wanted to buy one, I would go on Etsy, Gemrock Auction, be careful with eBay, of course. And you could buy some samples that way. That would be the easiest. Or you have to go to, you can find them in Peshawar. If you're willing to travel to Peshawar, Pakistan, you will find the Batakundi Trapiches on the market there. Easier for you to do, a little bit more difficult for me to do as American. You know, that we're not as, we're more easily separated from the general population. You can blend in there. It's a little more difficult for me to blend in there. So safer for you than for me to go to Peshawar.
Yes.
Sir, how is it possible that a trapiche ruby can show star effect? Because
I have never seen a trapiche ruby that had a asterism, that had a moving star. I've seen very, very few trapiche sapphires from Mogok in Burma that had both the trapiche, fixed trapiche pattern and a moving asterism star. I've seen maybe 3 in total, but I've never seen a combination of the fixed trapiche pattern and a moving asterism star in a trapiche ruby. Not yet. I hope one day I get to see one. That would be very exciting. From a rare collector standpoint, that would be very exciting.
yes, sir. Yeah. There are more locations.
Did you know you have trapiche rubies coming from India?
No. What is it?
You know about those, that you have trapiche like rubies coming from India?
Yes, sir.
You know, okay, good. Then I don't need to tell you about that. Yes. I saw in Jaipur about 4 years ago, I saw 200 kilos of rough. Out of that 200 kilos, 1% had a trapiche pattern in it. And of that 1%, I would say, I think they cut a total of about 2,000 carats. And of those 2,000 carats, only one was extra fine. And I'll send a photo along right now, just to show you the very best of what I discovered coming. I really wish there were more fine quality ones coming from India, but as we say, Mother Nature cooks in a dirty kitchen. So it's very rare to get the best, purest, and finest coming out of the ground. Hold on here. Oh, okay, I just sent that along. Did you receive that? So you can imagine, I looked through 200 kilos of rough, which had only two kilos that was cuttable. Of that 2 kilos that was cuttable, about 2,000 carats were cut. And this was the only extra fine piece out of the whole lot. So this gives you an understanding of the extreme rarity of the really fine trapiche-like rubies that are coming from anywhere. The biggest and best one I ever saw from Mongshu in Burma was only 2.2 carat size. Spectacular piece, but very, very small.
So what makes a Tapishi ruby different from a ruby? Like it's from nature ruby, right?
Well, it's natural corundum. It's complete. It's ruby in every respect. It's only the inclusions that make that hexagonal 6-ray pattern that makes it the trapiche pattern. So it is ruby. It's pure. Yeah, there you go. The ring. Yes, this is a 5 carat piece from southern India, and like I said, 200 kilos, had 2 kilos that was cuttable, which cut 2,000 carats of trapiche-like rubies, and this was the very best out of 2,000 carats. So that gives you an appreciation for the true rarity of it. And still, it's not nearly as nice as a fine trapiche emerald from Moga. It's beautiful, but doesn't have that sharp definition that you get with the small Mongshu rubies and the fine emerald ruby, emerald trapiches from Muzo. So this is probably the rarest trapiche ruby from India that has come out so far. And nope, it's not for sale. It's my personal private collection, and I wear this to gem shows around the world. I always get remarkable comments from gem dealers who see it. You notice on the sides, the polkies, these are hydrogen cloud asterated diamonds. You can read about those. These are slices that are cut polky style, and they're only found in Zimbabwe. It's called, some people call them star diamonds, but it's not really a star diamond. It's asterated diamond, and it's formed, the coloration is actually a color zone caused by hydrogen clouds within the crystal structure of the diamond. So maybe that inspired some more questions.
Sir, how does diamond has that effect, sir?
How does diamond what?
How does diamond has that effect? The one which you showed in the picture.
You're going to have to do some homework on that. It's called an asterated diamond, and it's a hydrogen cloud that causes the color disruption. So you have colorless sections, and then with the crystal growth structure, you have hydrogen clouds that grow along the cubic structure. And if you cut it from the point down, you have this three-way star. If you imagine a cube on the corner, if you look down a cube on the corner, it forms a 3-point star from the center. So you're actually seeing essentially a cube from the top that gives you the illusion of it being a 3-point star. But it's not color zoning in the traditional sense. It's inclusion based. It's clouds of hydrogen that cause the dark brownish coloration that gives the pattern there. And they go nicely with the trapiches because of the geometry, and they're not so expensive. You can find them in the market in Surat for 200 US per carat. And they're typically around maybe 1/4 of a carat each. So they have a big face, maybe like a 5mm face. So you got, it looks like a 1/2 carat face, but it's only 1/4 of a carat because it's thin and low cost per carat. So they're really fun for adding to trapiche gems as side stones.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'm looking forward to the day when all this COVID pandemic nonsense is over so I can visit you in person. That'll be much more enjoyable.
Yes, sir.
Always welcome, sir.
So any more questions? I'm really happy to see that the most active gemologist studying here is a woman. That's exciting to me. We need more women in gemology. After all, women are most of the consumers are women, right?
Yes.
So we should have more women in gemology. They'll bring a new dimension and a new element to the trade. Okay, any more questions? Don't be shy. Come on, gentlemen. You're gonna let this young lady outshine you as far as asking questions and gaining knowledge? Come on, guys.
Jeffrey, I have one
Yes.
question for you.
Sure.
Can you brief us in your career in collecting gems, the rarest gem that you have collected? One, I think it's the Trapiche Ruby. Any other gemstone that you have collected, and something which is very exciting?
I don't know about exciting, but probably the rarest one previously. I had a painite. Are you familiar with painite? It's only from Mogok, and for decades there were only 3 known specimens. When there was a new pocket found in Mogok many years ago, I wound up with a 70-point clean painite, but it was a very dark brown, not a very beautiful stone. And I had a collector that offered me a crazy price for it, so I sold it. That would probably be the rarest that I ever owned. But some other very rare ones, pudratite, Yerameavite, which is found also in Mogok, but also in Namibia. Vereranite, which is a beautiful, I mean, it looks like a Padparacha sapphire. Also mostly from Pakistan. Let's see. I have right now a really beautiful purple tarphite, Taaffeite. That's an exceptionally rare gem. It's only 3 carats, but the color is exquisite and the clarity is excellent. Those would be the shining stars.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
And
Do you have any picture to show to us?
We're talking about gemstones that in the whole world, if you took all the clean faceted ones that exist in the whole world, you can put them easily in the palm of your hand. Very few.
Okay.
Good
Nice
question.
Yes. So could you tell me about the most impressive experience you have had in this gemology world?
The most impressive what?
Experience.
Oh my gosh, most impressive experience. That's a really difficult one. You know, I have to say that it's the people that you encounter. And I can't say it's anyone, but the people that I've met around the world in mines in Tanzania, Madagascar, in Burma, in Vietnam, in Australia. It's the people that make this trade as wonderful as it is. So I've met some really wonderful and incredible people. Probably on the negative side, one of the most shocking experiences I had when Ilakak in southern Madagascar, when the deposit was first found of all the beautiful pink sapphires there. I took a journalist there in, let's see, it would have been 1999. We were the first gemologist and journalists to arrive there. And it was very crude. There was no hotel to stay in. We stayed in a little shack that was, you would put your tools in, something like that, just sleeping on a wooden bench. It was really rough conditions. And you're talking about people that live in the bush that have never seen electronics before. So I had one of the early digital cameras, and I took a picture of this two young boys who were panning down by the river, and I showed it to them, and they were thrilled. They were so excited to see their picture. And then their mom was there. I took a picture of her and showed her, and she completely freaked out. She was horrified. She had this tradition that she thought I had stolen her spirit by taking this photo of her. She was completely horrified, and I felt so bad because I didn't want to scare her or anything like that. Her sons were so happy and excited to see their photo, but mom was horrified. So that's probably the most remarkable experience that I can remember. And, you know, I've been doing this for over 50 years. I've had some incredible experiences on the way. I'll send one picture that to me is my favorite part of gemology. And I think this will be a good one we can close with. Let me find it here. It'll take me a little while because I have so many photos on my phone. Bear with me a moment. So while I'm looking for this, why don't you tell me a little bit about what your intentions are for your career? Will you use it in a jewelry store? Will you become professional gemologists? What do you plan to do with your gemological educations? Somebody want to start sharing there? What are your plans after you graduate?
I want to start up my own business in jewelry, and I want to use gemstones in my jewelry as well.
Okay, great. Well, you know, one of the things about being in the gemstone business, if you start with a foundation in gemology, you'll make far less mistakes. I started off as a hobbyist. I didn't get my gemology training until far, far later, and I made so many mistakes. So you're starting with a very good foundation. Okay, can you?
I want to become an auctioneer.
Auctioneer?
Yes, sir. After I graduate.
Ah, that would be great fun. I was at the Christies Auction in Geneva last month. It's really, really exciting to be able to examine the magnificent gems and jewelry that are put up for auction. You should look up Helen Molesworth. Remember the name Helen Molesworth, Molesworth. She worked for Sotheby's and Christie's for 10 years. Okay, this is in northeastern Tanzania, up near Umba, where the sapphire mines are. The Asian gentleman there, his name is Ponpyo. He's Burmese, and he's a gemologist for the Gublin Lab, and he's working in Hong Kong. And he and I and Richard Hughes, the famous corundum gemologist, rubies and sapphires, we went on a tour of the mining areas in Tanzania, and we stopped in this one village, and he was taking photos of the children and showing to them. And you can see how just these children are enthralled. They're thrilled to see their photograph on the camera. So these are the moments to me that make being in the gem business really, really special. And I hope you agree with me. So there we go. That's a little taste of what I enjoy in the gem business. So any more questions? Feel free. I'm done work today. I'm at home relaxing. My wife had her dinner already, so don't be shy. Ask away.
Tell me something about auctions.
Auctions. Auctions are a peculiar selling environment because, you know, obviously pieces that have provenance, that have a history, owned by someone famous or something like that, often go for very, very high prices. And sometimes you'll have items that are very, very beautiful that fail to sell completely. And then maybe you have a piece that 2 or 3 people really want to own, and they get in a bidding war, and it winds up selling for 2, 3, 4, 5 times the estimate. So auctions are really, really unpredictable. They're a good opportunity for astute dealers who travel to the auctions and inspect things, and they pick out what they think are going to be bargains that they can buy. But there's always that chance that you go for something special, and then there's an end user who likes it, and let's say you're willing to spend 50,000 US on it, but the end user is willing to spend 100,000, so you lose it. Yeah. Auctions are a lot of fun, and there's so much work that goes into preparing a good auction.
Yes, Jeffrey, I was just introduced to ask more questions because your experience is really valued for the younger gemologists. Yeah.
Sure. One of the most important things with auctions is having really, really credible lab reports. So if you have like an important Kashmir Sapphire, you're going to want a minimum of 2, preferably 3 lab reports. It would be SSEF, Gublin, GRS, GIA, Lotus Gemology, your top labs, you need several reports from. Same with Burmese rubies, same with top Colombian emeralds. You're going to have multiple lab reports, and it must be from credible labs because there's so many little tiny labs around the world that make mistakes. There's some labs that are made specifically to scam people. So having a really good quality lab report and multiple lab reports for expensive stones is very important for auctions.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Gentlemen, I'll give a A+ to the young lady here and a C- to all you guys there as far as participation goes.
It is just that we don't have a base of this industry. I don't even have a base of this industry. I'm like completely from a different background. So I'm pursuing this is a new thing for me. So I don't have any questions in mind. I just want to know more and more by listening to you.
Well, welcome. You're in the best place you could possibly be to start in this industry. Like I said, you'll avoid so many mistakes, you know.
Because even gemology, it's not easy for me to study. I'm finding it a bit difficult, but still I want to complete it.
If it was easy, you wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah.
But just imagine the new trader who, let's say he's from Sweden and he decides to go to Jaipur to buy gems, and he wants to buy some beautiful aquamarine. And they show him blue topaz, cheap. He buys a bunch of beautiful aquamarine, he thinks, you know. He gets back to his home country and he starts selling it. He finds out he got cheated. He didn't buy aquamarine. He bought very cheap blue topaz. So you're doing it the right way. You will avoid those kind of mistakes by having the knowledge before you start trading. So good decision. By the way, the easiest way, you can just in your hand, you can tell the specific gravity difference between aquamarine and topaz. Try it yourself. Take a 5-carat topaz and a 5-carat aqua and play with them like that. You'll see the topaz feels heavier in your hand.
I have already met a lot of losses because of these differences. By purchasing stones, like I already met a lot of losses. I bought a duplicate blue sapphire, paying around more than cost.
Yeah.
I have more than 3 stones of blue sapphire, which was of a higher cost. I paid high for that. When
Yes, I understand.
it came out as a duplicate stone. It came out as a synthetic stone.
Well, learning to separate the synthetics from the naturals that's the very beginning right there.
Yes, sir.
And also, you have one of the other things you have to be careful of is a lab report that the stone doesn't match with. Maybe it looks like it matches, but then when you do your dimensions and you check the weight, it's just a little bit off, and you realize, it doesn't really match what the lab report says. But you'll learn all those the techniques, how to make sure that the stone matches with the lab report you'll learn in your gemology class. But I have to say, my experience in the gem trade, more than 95% of the people that I encounter are honest. They're not trying to cheat people. They want to build long-term customer relationships. They want to give people a good value. It's just a small percent who are doing the cheating that make problems for the whole business.
Like I bought a whole lot of stones. Out of that lot, I found 3 stones as duplicate. Not all the stones, only 3 stones are duplicate out of the lot which I bought.
Well, if you're only 3 out of a big lot, that's actually not such a bad average. But if you're dealing with a really reliable supplier, that should not happen at all.
That was the first time that my dad went to purchase.
Yes.
From my dad.
Well, you're doing the right thing by learning to tell the synthetics from the naturals, so that hopefully you or your family will never make that mistake again.
Yes.
Well, you've been a great class. A few of you a little bit quiet, but that's okay. I hope you've all learned something of value today. And you can take my email address. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. I might not answer you quickly, but if you send me a question, I'll be happy to eventually. It might take me 4 or 5 days, but I will get back to you. So it's Jeffery, Jeffery at Primagem. And don't make the mistake. It's Jeffery at Primagem, PRIMAGEM.com.
Yes. Awesome.
Guys, please ask. Please. Any more questions? Related to industry?
Well, I hope the next time we meet, it will be in person. I would really enjoy coming to visit your school, but we have to wait till this COVID situation calms down a little bit. I would go immediately, but the problem is coming back into Thailand. They stopped the overnight quarantine, and we're going back on 7 to 10 day quarantine. And I don't want to sit in a hotel room and look out the window and see my condo that I could be staying in a few kilometers away. So when the travel restrictions are back, I'm usually in Jaipur at least 2 or 3 times a year, and I've traveled all around India. So happy to come visit your school when travel is a little less problematic. So thank you for your attention today, and have a wonderful career in gemology, gems, jewelry, wherever it takes you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, Mr. Jeffrey. Thank you so much.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
Jeffrey.
See you in
It
person.
was a wonderful. Yeah. Please visit Bengaluru branch, even IIG as a whole.
Yes, yes,
We will be
yes.
happy welcoming you again into our institute. This was an
Hopefully
online
next
lecture,
year.
but definitely in physical meeting also, we would enjoy more of your lectures, more of your experience to our young gemologists.
Sure, sure. It would be lots of fun for me. Much nicer in person. Okay. Thanks,
you.
gentlemen. Bye now.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
You're welcome.
Please say bye.